Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being, Sustainable Development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015-2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. We are also commemorating India's G20 presidency. So before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
Kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shatru buddhi vinashaya Deepajyotirnamostute Deepajyotirnamostute Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today, we have very less commemorations. So today is World AIDS Vaccine Day. Every year, World commemorates World AIDS Vaccine Day on May 18th. This day is also known as HIV Vaccine Knowledge Day, a campaign aimed at increasing public awareness about the importance of HIV vaccinations in preventing HIV infection and AIDS. The project accomplished two goals. One, it primarily aims to honor those medical professionals, scientists, and volunteers and supporters who have committed their lives to the development of a viable and safe AIDS vaccine. The other emphasizes the necessity of vaccination, which serves as a barrier against life-threatening infection. People are told that HIV may be avoided through fantastic initiative led by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, in short known as NIAID, and that every one of us has critical role to play in the preventive process and must share worldwide responsibility. The inaugural of World AIDS Vaccine Day was held on May 18, 1998, and was observed across the world. The idea of HIV Vaccine Awareness Day came from the former US President Bill Clinton's commencement speech at Morgan State University in 1997. He had stressed the importance of vaccination in containing and eradicating the deadly illness. Clinton has underlined the need for maximizing the use of science and technology to develop a vaccine that could improve people's ability to fight HIV. Since then, World AIDS Vaccine Day has been observed by numerous groups all over the world to educate people about the need of taking preventive measures, disseminate AIDS education, encourage researchers, and assure the common man's full involvement in the noble cause. The human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, is a virus that attacks the immune system of the body. It may be contracted through sharing needles, blood, or unprotected intercourse, and it can even be passed from mother to child during pregnancy. Within a few weeks, flu-like symptoms such as fever, sore throat, and exhaustion signal the onset of the illness. The virus proceeds to the next stage, which is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Although antiretroviral therapies have been shown to slow progress of the disease, no permanent treatment has been developed. As a result, the development of an HIV vaccine might be used to protect people who do not have HIV. The activities are targeted at harnessing the development of vaccines. HIV is a severe global public health concern, with an estimated 38 million people living with the virus by the end of 2019. HIV infection has become a manageable chronic health condition, allowing individuals living with HIV to live healthy and long lives, thanks to the improved access to efficient HIV prevention diagnosis. Treatment and care. So the HIV-1 virus, which is closely linked to a virus found in chimps, began to circulate through Kinshasa in 1920. For the first time, the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, issues an AIDS report in 1981. According to World Health Organization, an estimate 38 million individuals around the world are living with HIV since 2019. According to the World Health Organization, 26 million individuals are receiving antiretroviral medication, a 2.4% rise over the estimated 25.4 million at the end of 2019. It's an opportunity to not only praise those who have worked to combat the disease, but also to remember those who have died as a result of it. While recent discoveries in AIDS vaccines have pushed us closer to a cure, are still a long way to go. Every year, on May 18th, organizers and people throughout the globe raise awareness about HIV vaccinations, work to enhance HIV awareness and understanding, advocate for HIV prevention, and speak out against HIV stigma. AIDS is a stage of severe infection, whereas HIV is a virus. HIV, or human immunodeficiency virus, is an infectious virus that weakens a person's immune system over time, making them less able to protect themselves against viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. These infections, which are referred to as opportunistic, are usually mild in the beginning but can worsen as the immune system is exhausted. So a slew of national and international NGOs are dedicated to combating the disease and the challenges that come with it. The more people who are aware of the need of finding an AIDS cure, the sooner will be the discovered one. So use this day to create awareness on AIDS. It's critical to keep educating communities about HIV and AIDS prevention. It is critical to educate unserved areas and minority groups in HIV prevention. The human immunodeficiency virus, also known as HIV, affects the cells that assist the body fight infection and increases a person's risk of contracting other illnesses. It is transferred by intimate contact with a person who has HIV and their bodily fluids. Currently, no vaccine can prevent HIV infection or treat individuals who already have it, but scientists are nevertheless working on AIDS vaccine. By the end of 2011, there are 3.3 million HIV positive youngsters around the globe. According to the CDC, 1 out of every 5 persons in the United States is infected with the virus. So that's why the culture also plays very important role. Here, because of blindly following the Western culture, you can imagine 1 in 5 people are infected with HIV virus. That means these illicit premarital sex, extramarital sex affairs, and all these, drug abuse, and all these things are the culture of the West, where you can see nowadays even through unethical conduct of media in the form of movies or various films and all. Because of this unethical and immoral conduct of media also, especially in various countries, they are acting in a most irresponsible manner, that they are contributing to spread of these diseases. You cannot find any web series or any movie without drinking, without smoking, and without sex in a movie. That too illicit and extramarital or premarital, or all sorts of which are unethical, immoral. These kind of things are widely promoted by media, and that causes the spread of diseases like sexually transmitted infections and HIV, and also various other problems. That's why it's nothing wrong following the culture which is good, but India is very rich in culture, and our ancient sages, who are none other than our forefathers and our grandfathers, are the ones who have thought of this in a very broad manner. No other culture has such a broadest thinking as we have, because we being the oldest ancient civilizations, and we have been always the guardians of the planet and the Vishwa Gurus of the knowledge. So we know, that's why we can, but the present generations and even the past generations also have completely gone out of, because of the false propaganda of these, especially this entire thing has to be credited by the recent religions that has popped up, and due to existing belief systems which are running an agenda and propaganda of keeping people away from these ancient knowledge systems. They do not want these especially people to go back and know their history, know their cultures and traditions, go back and read their scriptures, know about their scriptures, in the name of saying it is unscientific. And you can see, whenever we discuss, there is no vaccine to many things, and there is no cure for many diseases. And in this context, these scientists are also educated fools, nevertheless, how much knowledge they have gained, because they have to admit first their limitations. If we go on admitting, again, it is like their own reasons. They have their own reasons, because there are more negative aspects of that. Every tablet you take, every medicine you take, you can see a lot of side effects that are running into 1-2 pages. Have you ever, read the side effects of any medicine you are taking? As simple as, this paracetamol, or any medicine for that matter. Have you ever read that? The side effects? You'll come to know, but blindly we are taking them instead of having a healthy lifestyle, instead of having so many home remedies at our house. Because, what's the reason? The reason is we need a quick remedy. We need a, very shortcut. We have gone to such an extent that we don't want to, wait. We need immediate result, even at the cost of health, even at the cost of wealth. As if we are going to die the next moment, we are behaving in such a manner, without thinking the future of our younger generations also. Today, so much disasters are happening. Today, we see this global heat warm heat wave is increasing every year by year. And because we have totally neglected our present generations and future generation requirements, we have destroyed the, forest, and we have destroyed the lands, especially these various ecosystems, due to which, we are facing today. And many animals became extinct. Because of that, there is no control of these food chains, and a lot of diseases are coming. And see our attitude of human beings. We have gone to such an extent that some people started eating each and everything. Whatever they find, it is very unfortunate that, any species that come across human being sight, they are being consumed. You see, China, what is not consumed, it is very difficult to prepare a list. And in other places, you see, so why this is happening? When we have alternative food materials that we can consume. Earlier, when when human beings evolved, at that time, there were very little chances, because it was primarily based on hunting. Whatever they got, they ate. But now we have wider choices. But still, people are behaving in such a manner that whatever they see, they are eating, in spite of having the better choices. And, they are better people because they had, better conscience. But nowadays, we have become educated illiterates, educated fools, educated idiots, more or less, because of our lifestyle and because of our practices and because of our food habits. Though we have a better choice, we are still not moving. We are not conscious about the impact that kind of food is bringing. That kind of food is impacting us in terms of diseases, in terms of illness, and in terms of climate change. We still we cannot get away with these bad habits, especially which are leading to lifestyle disorders. We can completely get away with this meat and meat products, but still these advertisements in media, you open YouTube, you open Facebook, you see that biryani ads and the meat ads luring you, to tempting you to, buy and immediately eat, order and eat. So this media has become most irresponsible on, estate, unfortunately, because I am also a media person, but, we have to admit it. If we don't admit it, that is the greatest illusion or delusion we are living with it. So this media has become so much irresponsible nowadays, just for the sake of, like, these journalists are, for the sake of 100, 200, 300 rupees, if you give, they will write anything. And no matter how good is the program, if you don't pay, they will not write it. So entire media has become like that. It's paid media, and for the sake of money they do anything, and for the sake of power they have become almost parasites of the people who are trying to abuse or trying to exploit. Unfortunately, they are losing their credibility today, because without paying they will not do that. When they are getting paid and doing, and there is no credibility in that. Now, whatever news we are seeing, whatever all are, paid news, which are sponsored news. There is no paper or there is no TV that is giving, exact news, because they need money to run. Again, there is no one to fund. If news is presented as a news, so news has to be modified and redesigned and created often. News is what that needs to be presented as it has happened or as it is happening. But now news is cooked up and news is created for the sake of news. So with these, wherever you see whatever cause, the underlying root cause, the contributor is media. You can see how media is spoiling the community. Instead, they can play a very good role. In fact, they can create more awareness that these are the, benefits. These are the, this is the impact that is going to create on environment, on human beings, why you are consuming. At least it can bring awareness. But, it has become so corrupted that without taking money, even for doing good also, they have to take money and they have to, then only they will work on it. So irresponsible media, it has become without taking money, they are not doing anything. Either every media house has an agenda, every media house has an inclination towards one or other affiliation to political party or business house, and they are working in their interest, but not, in the interest of public or population or general population. This is very unfortunate. Even, at times these human rights organizations are also have become like that. They sometimes, it is very unfortunate. We see, they are fighting for these terrorists and those who have killed for many people, and there is no concern about the persons whose these terrorists are killed. Now, it conveys a very wrong notion whether these human rights organizations and activists are working for the terrorists and working for the people who are violating the human rights, or they are with the common citizens whose rights needs to be protected. We can see, most of the times where a criminal is arrested or a terrorist is arrested, a rapist is arrested, these unfortunately, though they are going, but their fraternity has to take a call on this. Basically, when some things are happening, they are, no matter, every fraternity is divided. We cannot say that no single fraternity is undivided, but at the same time, when they are representing, it is their interest, because, if one person does, everyone is getting the blame. Now, as an association, whatever it may be, so they have to be very proactive and at least make sure that they are not going. Actually, it is the work of these association, professional bodies, professional councils, professional associations to bring awareness. And again, they have, mostly they have failed to bring awareness because they are also working. Everyone has become money minded. No, unless and until they get some profit, they are not engaging. Today, no one is interested to do service or charity, because even doing charity also, they need a lot of publicity. Otherwise, people are also not doing charity. And at the time of charity also, they take photography, they take videography, they share in social media, and they need a huge publicity. So people have become like that. And, at times the mindset, so no one is working literally, and they think, that is the way to do. But that is why we are suffering. We are suffering because of that kind of attitude, because of these cultures. You see, 1 in 5 is HIV infected. And the same culture we are following, these one-night stands and dating, mating, and, this weekend culture, sleeping together, and all these things are happening. And, that is comparatively less population. Imagine what if 1 in 5 Indian population gets such an situation, is infected with HIV. Imagine what will happen. So that's why we have to be conscious. What is the use of studying so much? What is the use of acquiring so many degrees if we are not able to convert that information into knowledge and knowledge into wisdom? So that's why we always need to go back to our ancient traditional knowledge systems and our scriptures, and we need to go back to our roots and see how they have, put certain rules and regulations and how they protected the planet, not only themselves, but the entire planet in a very sustainable way. But nowadays, with the abuse of science and technologies, we have exploiting, and today we are paying for it. And no matter what, soon entire species are going to be facing severe threat. In the next 200 years, the world is going to drastically change, and many species will become extinct, and even like dinosaurs and many other species which ruled the planet has disappeared. Soon the time will come that human beings also will get disappeared. Now, what is the use of this science and technology? Who will enjoy? And what will happen? If you don't if you don't have electricity, what will happen to all these technologies? And there is no one to operate this solar and thermal and the nuclear. When people become extinct, then it is all for human beings only. When human beings are not there, what will happen to all of this? What will happen to the science and technology, which we are proud of? At least for that sake, because of our false ego or false pride, at least for that sake also, we need to conserve, or we need to make the practices more sustainable so that at least we can enjoy those benefits, or at least our future generations can enjoy. But we are acting in such a way that not only we cannot enjoy, but also our future generation. Forget about future generations, but upcoming generations will curse us because of the things we have done us, because they will not. Almost now, are we aware that even the remote villages are drinking bottled water? I have seen in many villages, I've been traveling extensively, and I have seen almost no village is drinking their own well water or their own pond water, unfortunately. And today we have seen, in fact, I just visited one of the village to, do a study based on rural livelihoods and, what is the cost of living there. And unfortunately, daily a person needs minimum 10 liters of water, either 5 liters of drinking water and, another 15 to 20 liters for various purposes, maybe for cooking, for bathing and all of this. That is a minimum what I am talking about. But in rural villages also, they are buying daily the 20-liter bubble can, which we are using for drinking. They are buying that. And, for each person, say, suppose one person in the family has to consume water, 5 liters for drinking and 5 liters for cooking. So daily, how much they are paying? That each bubble can, depending on the brand, if they go for Bisleri and all, it is somewhere around 180 rupees or some 200, again 300 rupees per 20 liters. And again, if they go for this local RO filter, RO, this thing which has been set up in villages now, they are supplying somewhere in between base. That also depends on the quality. If they have good machinery infrastructure, some are charging 5 rupees and some are charging 10 rupees per 20 liter, and some are charging 15 and 20. So maximum is 20, minimum is 5 rupees of that local RO. But if they are going for branded, same, it is costing somewhere around 80 rupees to 300 rupees based on the brand. So how much every day a person, how much is spending just for water? You calculate. Now what we have done to our natural resources, just imagine every day 10 rupees minimum, assuming that, a person is using 20 liters a day. And say that each liter is costing 1 rupee, and just calculate 20 rupees per day, 30 days, how much he has to spend only for water, only for drinking water, which was available abundantly through rivers and streams. We have polluted everything and we are not able to drink that water. And today, every person is paying 600 rupees just for the water. This is a kind of development we have done. Now, tomorrow, soon, it is going to be a reality. We are going to pay for air also we breathe. Just imagine. 600 rupees for water, another 600 rupees for air, another 600 rupees for what not. Now imagine what is the cost of living. So everything will be, destroyed. If we don't realize this is what happens, we just don't think at a macro level, or we don't really understand what is happening between. Just imagine every person is spending 10 to 20 rupees on water itself, and it is mounting to 600 to 900 rupees per month. That too for a single member. If a family has 5 members, imagine how much they have to spend. And what is the average salary that a person in India is getting today? In unorganized sector, daily, today, or if you see this, local, what we call them, I'm not able to get that word, but in we see that labor adda, we say, where they know where the daily wage workers, they will be waiting for someone to come and ask, these groups early morning, if you see in every city, no matter, especially in Mumbai and all, Delhi also, every metropolitan city, we have certain places where we have huge labor. In the morning, they will be keep waiting, and so that they are taken every day. There is no sure employment, because first come, first serve basis, and many people are taken for employment on a daily wages. How much they are given now? Any idea? Have you ever visited and see? Because this is all related to our economy and our development. So they are being paid somewhere around starting from 800 to 1500 per day. So whatever work you do, that is up to you. See, based on, if you need specific skill set, then you need to just pick the person who knows that skill or who is experienced that. There is a huge number, we will find in some big, there will be a crowd waiting there. And when you go, you can also, if you need someone like a plumber or a fitter or carpenter also now. Of course, now we have a lot of online services where we can bring. Otherwise, if you need some labor, construction labor, or if you're taking up something, often we also go there and, bring people whenever we need, because that is a cheaper one. And, that is also, and this is not a new practice. We have been doing since long time. So that is a very easy source in our locality, especially. And they also based on, this work, they come. So often they are paid per day, 600 rupees to 1500 rupees. Again, that depends from place to place and the kind of work they are doing and, the risk involved and various factors. So assuming that they are earning 1000 rupees per day or maybe 500 rupees per day, just imagine how much they have to spend on water. For same person, again, they have to spend 20 rupees or 10 rupees on water itself. The two for drinking and cooking only. Again, for bathing, just say add additional 10 rupees. So if he is getting 15,000 rupees, he has to pay somewhere around 600 to 1000 rupees only for the water. And what about other necessities? Food for him and for his family, or for her, or for his family, and for the dwelling. We know houses, almost half of the salaries goes to rent only, unless and until you are living in a bit not so popular area, but in the most posh areas, or the most elite areas, almost half of your salary will go to rent zone. Minimum, you will not get a single bedroom for less than 15 to 20,000. That is minimum what we are saying. Otherwise, if you go to small these busties and all, there you can get some 5,000, 10,000 with adequate figure and overcrowded and all these things. So how much they have to pay? Now just imagine what we have done. There is no drinking water. Even in villages also there is no drinking water. And it is, it's a very serious thing that needs to be addressed. Already we are, because of our human activities, the freshwater sources which were available around 3% now has been depleted, and not even 1% of water is available now. Because glaciers are melting and these poles are melting, there is no ice formation. And even if ice is formed, they are getting melting. And even our Himalayas and other glaciers are melting at a very high rate. Actually, our water, fresh water resources are from them only, because they melt and we get water through rivers. And again, those rivers are being polluted by these industries and commercial activities and agriculture activities. So now we have to do environment impact assessment on these. Actually, how much these industries have contributed, whether they have really contributed to the economy, or whether they have created such a situation that today every citizen, every person on the planet has to pay 10 rupees every day for the water. Now, what is the total outcome today? We have seen. So what is the outcome today? What is the outcome of all these commercial and industrial activities? That today every person has to pay minimum 20 rupees for drinking water. And what about the other species which are not able to earn their livelihood? They are not pay fishers. How will they pay 10 rupees? What about animals? How will they pay 10 rupees? Who is going to pay for them? This is the kind of mindset. That's why we keep telling, where we also deviated from Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam concept, and no religion, especially these religions, are culprits of these ideologies. Because no other religion except Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma promotes Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam in its realistic manner. And because of other religions and other belief systems, they mainly focus on, human beings, and they don't care about plants or animals or nature or natural resources. Where, in Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism, we give emphasis to each and everyone, and we believe that, even a rock, even a tree, even a river has life and divinity in it, and that's how we protected all these natural resources. We did not exploit. You can see in Hinduism, even every animal, we see a lot of animals associated with different gods. Even dog is worshipped, even cow is worshipped, even peacock is worshipped, even tiger, lions are associated with one or other god. See, that's how we protected them, because we imbibed divinity into trees, plants, various species. You see one plant, it is associated with one god or one goddess. You take one animal, it is associated with one god or other goddesses. You take one plant, it is also associated with one god or goddesses. You take one bird, It is also associated with one god or other goddesses. Why, these temples were built on these hills? Because the entire temple, entire hill or a mountain is considered sacred. So that we did not do any illegal activity, industrial activity, commercial activity in that area. So that the entire ecosystem of that mountain was preserved intact. That was the reason. But now we see in, a lot of other religious institutions they constructed. They also started nowadays, it is a new trend with this new religions, where they are occupying hills and mountains, and they don't understand because they never understood this concept of preservation. They are constructing all kinds of nonsense on these mountains and hills, and they are again constructing roads, and the entire ecosystem is disturbed on these mountains and these small hills and rocky areas. So this is the problem with these Westerners, invaders, and especially these Muslim and Christian invaders who invaded our country and destroyed the culture, and we have become the slaves of their own cultures, and we forgot our own cultures and traditions. There is no one even to explain. Like I am telling you, can anyone deny that this is wrong? Can even any one of you just deny and give your justification that how it is wrong? No one can. In fact, because that is the truth to be accepted. We know that that is the reason. So we need to be very cautious, especially, That's why there is even no one to explain all these things. And even if someone is trying to explain, there is also no people to trying to listen, because they are destined to be suffering. Because only when we are destined to be saved, then only we will listen. Otherwise, when we are destined to be suffering, we will not even listen, we will not even attend, we will not even bother also. Because we don't want good things to happen to us or our communities, right? Then why we will attend, why we will listen, why we will read? We will not read, we will not attend, we will not listen, because we are destined to be punished. We are destined to be going through pain and misery. That's why we are not even in the very first place also, we don't get opportunities. That is what destiny is. That is what karma is, We'll not get, not everything is everyone's cup of tea. That is what we tell, because that is what, your karma, your destiny is not destined. Though it is there, but you will not attend. You will not take up good lifestyle. You will not take up good habits. You will still go for junk food. You will still go for meat consumption. You will still go for, other religions or other belief systems which does not have these holistic concepts like Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, where it preaches everyone is same. You'll only go with such religions or such belief systems or such systems which says divide and rule. You break the rule. You break the people into religion, caste, creed, and all such nonsense. And where, you create a lot of hatred among each among, and you create a lot of hatred and exploitation towards nature. So you start exploiting nature and natural resources and destroy them. No other religion promotes, these rivers as sacred. And again, these educated fools, educated idiots, that's why I call as educated illiterates, they never understood this concept because they never studied these things. Now, why? Because they always looking for their, like a frog in a well. They never understood this holistic concept. They never gone beyond their books and have studied their ancestors and ancient history. Why these were preserved so much long is, because the decline of Hinduism is also the result of, the increasing climate change, global warming and pollution. All these are also is directly attributed to the decline of Hinduism and Hindu population, or basically the Sanatana Dharma is directly proportionate. because other religions, other belief systems are increasing where they do not promote Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means for them, only human beings are important. No other species on the planet is important for them. So definitely what is happening? Exploitation of natural resources. There is no preservation of natural resources. That is what today we are facing. And now it is seen. Now you can go and verify in each village. Now every person has to pay 10 rupees, minimum 5 rupees or 10 rupees for drinking water every day. Now this is what we have done. We may be thinking, because we are totally unaware and we are not having that kind of maturity. In fact, we are immature that we do not understand these concepts in totality. And we keep assuming that what is there in that religion, what is there in culture. Now, what happens if we adopt some other culture? Because you need to adopt. See, there is nothing wrong. You can go with any religion, any belief system, but whether it is useful for you, whether it is useful for community, whether it is useful for the planet, whether it is productive, constructive, is what everyone has to follow. Everyone has to think. Everyone has to understand and then follow it. Then only you will get the benefit, community will get the benefit, and the planet also will get the benefit. Now, when you are following such a religion or a belief system which is destroying the natural resources, which is destroying the own human species and other species on the planet, and which is destroying the planet as itself, now what you will get? You will get destruction only as an outcome. This is what happening. Today, there is direct proportionate that why we are paying today, because no temples are promoted, no Hinduism. Hinduism is declining and other religions are growing. Today we can see the highest population. What is the population? The highest statistics as per the world population statistics. Which religions are there? And are they promoting this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam concept? No. That's why we are paying today. Entire destruction has gone because they never see any life or divinity in rivers or water bodies. So they start exploiting, they keep polluting. And, because of that, again, because now people are very fond of eating meat, again, they eat fishes and aquatic, all these species. Now, again, they are polluted, they are contaminated, they are highly, metal content. And that you are same consuming, and where it will go, that is karma, that is destiny. You are polluting the rivers, and the river life, which is giving same water you are using for cultivation. The plants, vegetables, all are polluted. Again, same thing you are consuming. That's why you are getting diseases. Now, who is responsible for this? This is only karma. What we have done now, we are getting back in the form of all these things. So now it is a high time to realize that, everything is interrelated. There is nothing, only the world can be saved only when we move back to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam concept, only when we move back to Sanatana Dharma. That only, it will come one day, it will realize again we have to go back to the same cycle where all these religions will disappear, and again we will go back to Sanatana Dharma. That's where the, entire universe is going to thrive. So soon human beings are also going to be extinct to a stage where the only concept will be Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, where, everyone start valuing each other, every species start valuing each other and respecting each other. That's how even before human beings, this planet has survived. And even after human beings also, planet will survive happily. But who are the invaders or the, destructors of the planets are human beings. And soon nature will take its own course of action to make it, because already it is paying a lot. It is paying in the form of extinction of its own species on the planet. It is paying in the form of permanent loss of its natural resources. Rivers are getting polluted, drained, and sea levels are increased. Fresh water is decreasing. It is not just human beings, other animals has to survive. For them, who is going to provide? Nature has provided abundant water resources so that other species can survive. We human beings are just one among 8.4 million or billion species. How we are selfishly thinking about ourselves and totally ignoring and abusing, exploiting all the 8 billion species on the planet. You see, will that karma leave us? Will that sin no matter, no God will forgive. Even gods will also be cursed and they will also be punished. That is going to happen. Forget about you saving, God saving you. Gods will also be punished because of supporting you and saving you. Because can you imagine how rational it is? Just for the sake of one species, 8 billion species have to pay for that, for the sake of one species. Imagine which one you will go. Even when you go to the court also, if 8 billion people are being saved for just eliminating one person or one, which option will the court take? Definitely it will go with the eliminating of that person, right? Even if you given choice also, you will take. So nature also, we are forcing the nature to take the decision to protect all the species. It has only choice to eliminate human beings. That's how it is going to happen soon. Human beings are also going to be extinct. Maybe today you will not, you may laugh at me, but the entire reports, what is saying, if we are aware of what IPCC is saying across the world, we are why we are commemorating so many things, to bring awareness of, because we don't know in totality what is happening. So initially, when we thought of why we can discuss, there are so many topics now. Why we need to do commemorations is we will cover each and every aspect on the planet. That's how we chosen daily commemorations, so that everything is important. We can see in the West, most of our commemorations are from West, in most developed countries, US, Germany, Russia. So where we have seen clean a day, clean a closet, clean backyard day, and so many days, chocolate day, biscuit day, cookie day. Why we have all these days? Because they don't have that culture of, having day, unless and until they have a day, they don't give importance to them. That's why they need some reason. But we are not like that. Our culture is entirely different. We have festivals, we have everyday festival. And we are very much, holistic development or sustainable development concepts. Why this Yes, sorry, there was some connectivity problem. So, so why these all things are, we might be thinking that how these all things are interrelated. So we have seen that all these things are interrelated, and only when we take up these commemorations and only, you know, interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary or multidisciplinary doesn't always, focus on just one, like a frog in a well. It's not like that, where we are only confined to our own discipline, our own subject, and we cannot understand in totality. That is why, we are taking up so many wide topics so that we can have an holistic understanding of what exactly is happening here. And if we don't realize that, we are only going to be the victims of our own actions. So karma is going to hit back, nature is going to hit back, environment is going to hit back. Now, because it is only because of our activities, our doings, our wrongdoings, in fact. And we cannot escape because we are not realizing that, and we are not stopping them. So that's why even when we are adopting such wrong cultures, such Western cultures, or, whatever may be, when we are simply blindly following them without understanding which is good, which is not, these things will happen. So though we have a little bit deviated from the commemoration, but it is very much important for that, because we were talking about AIDS. Because of that, it was just not limited to Africa or America. Now, India was once with the highest population of AIDS patients in the world. Because see, this is what happens. It just spreads across the world and it creates its impact and havoc. So this day, when we are talking about World's AIDS Vaccine Day, this day honors the numerous volunteers, community people, health professionals, and scientists who are working together to develop an HIV vaccine that is both safe and effective. Though, of course, there is no vaccine as of now. It is also a day to raise awareness about the necessity of HIV vaccine research in communities. So international AIDS funding began to decline for the first time, while less than half of the persons living with HIV/AIDS on the globe had access to antiretroviral medication. It's never been more critical to bring up attention to treatment disparities to put an end to the disease's spread once and for all. Its comparison to the cost of lifetime therapy, in this case, antiretroviral therapy and HIV vaccine is also one-time intervention that is incredibly cost-effective. It is important to further studies about this important cause. At many times we see, there is a lot of stigma, lot of thing that we are associating with bad karma, bad luck, or wrongdoing. But in fact, that is very much required. What we understand is when we don't have that kind of system, we will keep doing these wrong things again and again without any guilt. See, one side we are trying to work on the stigma and myths. Other side, because of lack of that also, there is a lot of great disadvantage that is happening. Because everyone is widely engaging in this, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and tobacco abuse. And because of that, they use same syringes, or, they have sex, unprotected sex, and all these things are contributing to all these diseases and viruses. So, though people are nowadays using various methods, but still the concept of being pure or being, isolated or being protected is being lost. So we are not, that also again leads to various other problems, because we are not able to control our own thoughts. our own desires, our own needs or wants or demands for sex or intimate relationships. That's why we are engaging and we have no control on ourselves. We are looking for instant gratification, and that too in unhealthier relationships. This will also not just be limited to that, limited to sex or intimacy. It will also show in other, professions and other areas, avenues, or other domains of life. Similarly, the person will become intolerant, restless, and impatient. And that person will behave in such a manner for instant gratification. And there they lose all these ethics and morals. They don't want to follow anything, any system, and they continue to suffer. Now, whose fault is this? We always want to look away, get around things done without proper maintenance, proper discipline, proper commitment. So all these are contributing. But anyway, we can't do anything. The only thing we can do is, at least keep telling that this is what going to happen when we don't do this. That's all. Whoever follows, to some extent, they are in a better position. Whoever doesn't follows, they keep suffering without understanding why they are suffering. And again, we keep blaming God, or we keep blaming someone that why this is all happening. It is only because of all we have done. And we are paying back. As simple as that. We are doing all nonsense and we are paying back. Now, what God has to play or what someone has to play? If we are conscious, if we are aware of what we are doing and what are the consequences. See, decision is only decision we can take, but we cannot control the consequences, right? So we have to face the consequences based on the decision. So that's why we have to take informed decisions. There is a difference between taking decision and an informed decision. Taking decision is something that without knowing the consequences, we are taking a decision without even aware of the consequences. But when we take informed decision, we are aware of the possible consequences. Of course, we cannot always have, conscious or aware of the various consequences, but at least possible within our limited knowledge and awareness, at least we know, okay, if we take this decision, these might be the consequences. I'm ready to face these consequences. At least you will be prepared and you are aware that this is going to happen. If I am going to destroy the nature and planet, I am going to pay for it. Because again, that is also going to impact me in the form of climate change, in the form of disasters. When we know this thing, which our ancestors were very much conscious, aware of this, that's why they imbibed divinity into everything, into rock, into river, into tree, into animal. That's why they imbibed this divinity into them to protect them. And that's why they made these mountains and ranges also very sacred and being treated them with divinity. That's why no occupation, no cultivation, or for that matter, no industrial activity was taken up in the mountain ranges, in the these where there is a rich biodiversity in Ghat regions. But now what is happening? You see Kerala and many other places in Vishakhapatnam and all these, where we have these Ghats, Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, which are rich in biodiversity, where there are mountains, all are being taken up and, dug up and destroyed because of tourism or because of industrial mining activity or because of various other things. Now we are destroying them. Now the entire ecosystem is lost. The entire biodiversity is lost. Now we have to pay for that because we have destroyed it. Now, how? Of course, there are various other ways also. because nature has been always giving us, and we should not be so exploitative in utilizing these resources. We have a lot of land, vacant land where we can also take up the activities, right? There is huge land which is used. Why we need to destroy the forest or the rich ecosystems or mountain ranges or ghats? Is it necessary? Without using them, we can go for this row of houses or apartments instead of independent houses, and we can utilize and leave the rest for the greenery and for the other species to thrive. But what we are doing, we are encroaching the forest, and we are cutting down the trees, and where will those poor animals go? We are just one of 8 billion species, and where will the other species will go? We are encroaching their habitats, and we are getting in conflict with them. And we are complaining that they are coming to our fields, they are coming to our homes, and they are attacking us. Whether we are attacking them or they are attacking us. We have encroached their lands. We have, forcibly taken away their natural resources. They don't have water. They don't have food to eat. That's why they are coming out. Because why? We have destroyed all the natural streams, water streams that are going into the forest. And how will they get water? Without water, how the forest will flourish? How the ecosystem will, flourish? And with our hunting, poaching, and various activities by human beings, so where they will get adequate food, and how that natural, control mechanism happens? There is imbalance of all these things. So human intervention has created a havoc, a disaster in the entire planet ecosystem. That's why we are continuing to pay and will continue to pay and keep suffering. Because there is no other choice unless and until we realize that what we have done is not good and what we are doing is not good. Still, the development is possible. We are not saying that, we should not develop or we should not take up any industrial activity. We are saying that it is possible without destroying the ecosystem. We can have alternative strategies. We can also, at the same time, when we are destroying something, we need to have alternative mechanism to restore also. Where we need to, of course, it may be a little bit costly, but not at the cost of nature, not at the cost of our future generations. If required, we need to invest. Otherwise, stay within our own limits. We don't need so much of luxury, right? We can live with our own comforts. But when we are aspiring for luxury, then we need to spend for it. We need to sacrifice certain things for it, but we should not deprive other species, and we should not, abuse other species and violate their rights. Even right to life is also violated. We are not, allowing them to live also, because we are killing them. And imagine if they also kill us. That is also going to happen soon. So, unless and until the change comes within us, especially the human beings, the nature is not going to forgive us. And even God will also be punished if we think that God is saving us. And if we go to church or if we go to some, religious place, and if we pray that God forgive me for all these committed sins, and if God is also supporting us for that, then he will also become culprit, and he will also be punished because of supporting such people. What the quote says, more than one who commits the crime, the one who is making that person to commit is more punishable. So tomorrow that God is also will be punished because of encouraging such things. So this is only how it is going to come in coming days, that these religions also going to disappear, which have existed, which have come recently and will also disappear, because they will also be punished and they will realize that whatever they have done is a great blunder in the system. They have destroyed everything, and they will also be destroyed by their own acts. That is only going to happen. So we all need to be conscious. Whoever realizes it, whoever understands it beyond their illusions or delusions or cognitive biases, those who are able to realize this, they will be, they can save themselves. Because as I always keep saying, religion is an optional for a human being. Human beings can survive without any religion, any belief system, but religion cannot survive without human beings. Human beings can survive without religion or any belief system, but not vice versa. Religion has to have some followers, then only it will survive. Say, suppose if no one is following religion, what will happen? That religion will die, and there will be no followers, and so then religion will either be forced to death, or it will die its own natural course of death. It may be any religion, it may be belief system. Now that impacts. So these new religions which has popped up and will go away, there is no damage that happens. But especially Sanatana Dharma and Hinduism, if they go, if they disappear, then the entire world will be destroyed. Because they are the ones who preserved the entire nature and ecosystem planet. And if no one is following that, and we are, because other things are very selfish motive, they only concentrate on human beings and only fulfilling their desires, and which promote a lot of committing sins and more. And you say, you come to me, I will forgive. The God himself has come to forgive those sinners and all these things. So definitely they will not have this kind of consciousness that they should not do any sin, they should not do any wrong thing in the very first place. They continue committing sins and go back telling to God and say, I have committed sin, and he will say, I have forgiven. You go and again commit sins, come back. This will become a daily routine. And he will become a professional sinner or professional violator. And God keeps forgiving. Then what is the use of this? What is the point of it? So we need to understand all these things, and then we need to be very conscious. See, we are not against any religion or any belief system, but we need to understand that every religion or every belief system has its own agenda sets, has its own purpose. So because we have right to religion, we can follow whatever we want. Whatever is good for us, whatever is good for our nature, whatever is good for our planet, that we need to choose and we need to follow, because that is our constitutional right. So what we will choose, definitely, when we are buying some mobile, when we are buying some food, when we are, going for some vehicle, we will choose the best only. But why we are not choosing the best in these terms? That we need to be conscious. We need to think over it also. Why we are not choosing the one which is when we go, we see the reputation, right? When we have 5,000 years, 10,000 years old reputation and experience, which we will choose? You will choose just these 100 years, 200 years, or 1,000 years, 2,000 years, or you will go with the very longest reputed and experienced one. Which one you will choose? But unfortunately, what is happening there only, we did mistake. We are doing mistake again and again. We are choosing the new one which do not have a proper understanding, which do not have this experience, which do not have this proper maturity of thought or belief system or philosophy. We are following them and we are destroying ourselves. So there is no one also to tell us that what we are doing, whether it is right or wrong. There is no one to guide us. There is no one to mentor us in these lines. Because again, religion has become a kind of, a stigma. Again, because now it is also like trend, which religion with lot of rules and regulations, we are not, oh, that religion means again we need to follow we need to be very neat and we need to take bath and we need to go there. So another religion means no need to worry, without bathing, without eating, you eat non-veg also, you eat drink also, go there and go pray and all these things. We are more, towards, going with the systems or lifestyles that is like drinking, having sex and, having consuming meat, having alcohol and all these. We are following such belief systems or religions which are promoting them. Promoting lot of indiscipline, lack of responsibility, lack of ethics, lack of morality, and all this, because that is easier. No need to follow, because we have already become lazy and we don't want to follow all these things. So we will follow that one which is very easy, convenient, because somehow we have to cling to some tree like monkey. So we can cling to someone which is very much, that easy to cling with. So that's why, we are going with such religions or such belief systems which are easy to follow, which have no restrictions at all. And that's why where we get destroyed, because there is no discipline there. It is only lot of fear, lack of freedom. You have to strictly follow, otherwise, you have no choice, do or die there. Here, there is a lot of choices. Whether you follow doesn't matter, whether you don't follow doesn't matter. Because you have a lot of options, lot of choices, lot of freedom. You can worship tree, you can worship river, you can worship, some rock, you can worship in photo also. Lot of options are there, lot of freedom are there. If you don't believe in any other God, you can believe in yourself as a God and you can pray yourself also. So that is what universal concept, that is what inclusion is, right? All others are exclusion concepts only. Except they themselves, everything is excluded only. They don't consider anything. They themselves play a victim card, but they themselves talk of exclusion, but they are the ones who exclude everything apart from them. They never include anyone. But here, everything is included. There is no exclusion concept at all. So like this, otherwise what will happen, these viruses and these pandemics keep spreading because of our lifestyle. We consume alcohol, we drink, we smoke, and we have sex with everyone, unprotected sex, illegal sex. And all these things, will cause, and we consume whatever we see, we eat. So we get zoonotic diseases. So that's why today we are suffering with so many diseases, so many problems, so many issues, because we are more self-centered. We are not bothered about other species, other natural resources on the planet. So that's why we were discussing about all these things, because we need to understand what is happening, not just limited to certain topic, because the root causes are many, not just one reason. So we have other commemorations, like today is National Visit Your Relatives Day. So even in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam concept, even trees, plants, animals are also our relatives, because we all belong to one family. And it's a coincidence, of course, it is in US, has a different connotation or concept. So With the advent of digital age, while it has become easier to connect with our relatives, the fast pace of our lives have added to the distance even more. The day reminds us to take a moment to appreciate having a family and taking time out to visit or call the relatives we haven't contacted in a while. So this isn't a culture or religion in the world that doesn't have values and traditions surrounding family. So nowadays, it is common for people to live anywhere across the globe, and studying or staying in touch ensures that maintaining close ties with the family and stay rooted in your culture and traditions. So this day is dedicated to showing appreciation for those who played a role in the growth and making sure that they too get your support. Many of us have fond childhood memories of our families and growing up. Modern life is very busy. People are constantly juggling work, family, career relationships, and other commitments. And often we don't prioritize catching up with our relatives enough. So there is no better way to celebrate the day than simply stopping by and saying hello to your relatives or family members that you don't often get to see if you can't meet with them. Call them or send them greetings or messages. If you have ample time, host a reunion. The best way to celebrate family will definitely bring a huge smile on the faces of your grandparents and other older members of the family. Will certainly appreciate the gesture of bringing family together after a long time apart. So today we also have this commemoration of National Notebook Day. It encourages people to record their thoughts, events, and information in a notebook. It is especially important to have a notebook of journal if you are the type of person whose mind goes so many places at a time. And one of the reasons why keeping track of your ideas is beneficial is that it helps to focus the mind. People will often revisit their journal entries when they need inspiration or ideas. So maybe it's a feel of a pen on the paper or a freedom to express your thoughts in writing. Taking notes helps you to remember important lessons, and using notebooks is a great way to organize your thoughts. So the first legal pad was invented in 1888 by the American named Thomas William Holey in the West. At that time, he worked for a small paper mill. He used to make inexpensive notebooks out of scrap paper and sell them from his home. One day, a judge from New Jersey City, at the time it was Jersey City, wanted to buy a few notebooks for him and suggested that he stitch the paper together with a cardboard backing to be more durable and easy to write on. So in 1924, the spiral notebook was said to have made it debut. Edward Podosek, an English inventor with many patents, is often credited for the invention. Although he may not have been the inventor of spiral notebook, he was a person known to have used them to record information. So this day was started by a stationery company, National Notebook Day, called May Design in 2016. This company encourages people all over the world to post pictures on social media with their notebooks. All these days especially are promoted for promoting business only. All these Mother's Day, Father's Day, which all are from West now. These all are to promote business, especially those companies which have gifts and novelties and greeting cards. No? All these days have been started by those people only because they want their business. So to promote their business, to sell their cards, to sell their gifts, they have started promoting. Otherwise, do you think that only one day is enough for celebrating Mother's Day, Father's Day, or Wife's Day, or Husband's Day? How stupid is that? That is, that relationship has to be rejoiced every moment of our life. But we are commemorating because they want their business on that day. They will promote huge discounts and everyone keeps starting buying gifts. So there's a lot of transaction, lot of business that happens. So they keep promoting, but without understanding, we simply go and we forget on other days we forget. And that's why US has, different, every day they have so many commemorations. They have some, see, this notebook day, pencil day, pen day, even trash paper day also they have, dust day. We have seen daily commemorating so many days now. So for everything they have day. They have shit day also. Recently we commemorated this animal shit day, and we take your shit with you, something. So all these days are, to promote business only. There is some product associated with it. So we need to sell that product. So, but we don't realize actually, we simply follow them and we also celebrate. But for us, it is not business for us. Relationship is not business. That is what happening today. More and diverse cases, and father is killing son, son is killing father, or daughter is killing their own. All these are happening because, these Western cultures have more influence, impacted us to take everything as a business. Now even family has also become a business. So we need to be very careful. That's why we say, we have to be very conscious. And as already mentioned, today is also HIV vaccine day. We already spoke about it. And today is also International Museum Day. So since 1977, International Council of Museums, ICOM, has celebrated this day annually to pay tribute to the international museum community. Museums are vital venues for cultural exchange and enrichment, as well as for the development of peaceful coexistence and cooperation among nations and communities. This day encourages people to visit museums dedicated to many fields of human endeavor, such as agriculture, fashion, astronomy, archaeology, art, and natural history. Together, let us embark on a journey to museums, learn about our historic past. In 1951, the International Council of Museums, ICOM, held a meeting named Crusade for Museums, during which the international museum community debated the theme Museums and Education. The strategy for museum accessibility was established at this meeting and served as an inspiration for the creation of International Museum Day. It was first observed in 1977 in Moscow, when ICOM General Assembly adopted a resolution calling for the establishment of an annual event to further integrate creative objectives and museum efforts aimed at directing the world's attention to the contributions of museums to humankind. It also pushes for the ideas that museums are channels by which to promote mutual understanding, interaction, and world peace. Every year, the organization decides on a new theme. Since 1977, all museums across the world have been asked to organize and take part in activities to raise awareness about the importance of museums to society. Since its inception, International Museum Day has progressively grown in popularity. The number of participants have been steadily rising over the last 15 years. It's testament to the fact that the study of history allows to understand how societies behave. Today, more people than ever before visit museums all over the world. There are also more people studying history at universities now than any other time. Today is also commemorated as Global Accessibility Awareness Day. And people are encouraged to discuss, debate, and educate themselves on digital access issues, on global accessibility awareness. The purpose of the day, a key event that spotlights digital accessibility and inclusion for persons with disabilities, is to raise awareness and inspire action, increasing the usability of access and accessibility of digital products like websites, mobile applications, and other online tools is important, as everyone needs to have access to the same information, no matter what their disabilities may be. So, established in 2012, Global Accessibility Awareness Day aims to have conversations and educate people about accessibility. It all started up with a single blog post authored by Joe Devon, a web developer located in Los Angeles, who came up with the concept. A post on the blog served as an inspiration for Global Accessibility Awareness Day. As a result of their collaboration, Devon and Jennison founded Global Accessibility Awareness Day. An accessibility expert from Toronto, Jennison, discovered Devon's blog article entirely by chance, owing to a tweet from him that he came across while surfing the internet. After reading it, he immediately contacted Devon via Twitter, and two of them teamed up to bring the event to fruition by utilizing their large and separated networks. For the website for Global Accessibility Awareness Day, the goal is to get everyone talking about digital web-based access inclusion and persons with different disabilities, as well as encourage others to think about it and learn about it. So with this, we shall stop these commemorations today. Though there are many such commemorations, so it is a very good opportunity, which we think very silly or very, it's not so important also. People somewhere around the world, they are having a dedicated day and they are working on it. So it always conveys us that nothing is so irrelevant, or everything is important. Every aspect of life, every aspect of activity is also as important as we have it. So thank you everyone for joining us. So see you all tomorrow also at the same time with different topics. Feedback form has been raised in the form of chat box, in the form of polls. Registration link has been shared in the chat box. Those who have not registered are requested to register after filling up the feedback form. You can keep the registration form open so that once the meeting is closed also, you can fill it up. The registration form is same for all the days, but you need to register every day to be eligible for the certificate and attend and provide feedback in the form of Zoom polls so that your certificates can be generated. And don't worry about the certificates. We are already preoccupied with so many things. So we'll issue, don't worry about, don't keep any timeline for certificates. You just keep attending. Whenever time permits, we'll be issuing the certificates. You can check, visit website and keep downloading whenever they are available. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form completely with valid details